everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we just want to go ahead and do a bit of tidying up along with implementation here for our product controllers and everything else we need in the application. So to get started with, let's go ahead and create a model in here called product. We want the migration in here. And for now, we will keep this fairly simple because we could have many different products in here. So for this one, let's go ahead and say table string title, table string slug, and we can have this as unique. Table, and in this case, let's say we want to have an enum in here maybe for status. And again, in this case, we could go ahead and do something similar to what we've done inside the article one, where we have an enum for that, for example. So we could go ahead and say php make enum product status. So let's go ahead and copy and paste this in, call this product status. We can call it draft, publish, case, archive, case. We can, for example, say discontinued, because that may also be a use case for an e-commerce store especially. So we can go ahead now and see where we use article status, for example. And we use this inside our migration here. So we could just go ahead and do something similar like that. Saying product status values. Let's make sure we go ahead and import this as well. Let's make sure we go ahead and add in a text for content in here. And we also want, in this case, to have something like, in this case, we could either go ahead and create variance table, or we could go ahead and just leave it inside a JSON object. But I think we want to go ahead and create a variance table for that later on. So outside of that, we may also want to have something like, if the product is standalone and there's no variance, maybe we want something like an integer for a price. However, this should be nullable. And outside of that, we could also go ahead and add in a stock here again. This is only if no variance exists. For both of these here. So if there's no variance exists, we could have a stock and a price, but otherwise we will leave it as it is. And I'm going to go ahead and migrate this now. So let's say PHP Artisan migrate. Just like that. And yeah, so that's everything we need here. So let's take a look at our product model. Oh, actually, wait, we want to go into our create products table, and let's roll back this migration quickly and make sure we add in a use ID. So we can go ahead and say table, foreign ID, use ID, constrained to the users table, null on delete, because if you, for example, have an e-commerce store and someone leaves the company, you don't want to delete the product just because you delete the user. You would just want to set it to null. So this is really just for tracking purposes for the person who is creating these products, to see who is creating which product here. This is nothing to do with displaying on the front end. This is purely just tracking for the organization in this case, if we go by that. So if we go ahead and migrate this now, we have the products table. We can then go ahead and say product model. And in here we can say public function user, and we can say belongs to. Return this belongs to user class. We want a fillable in here. So we want to go ahead essentially and add all of these in here, such as title, slug, use ID. And we also want to add in the price. And I think that's everything we want to add into the fillable for now. Outside of that, just like we did with the article model, because we are using the tip tab editor, we need to make sure we also go ahead and typesafe this for the content to be an array. So we want to have the product status in here instead. We can go ahead and delete the article status from the import. Status is perfect here. Content should be an array. And we now have all of these filled out here as well, which is exactly what we need. And outside of that, I think that's pretty much everything we need inside this here. You could go ahead and add more use cases in here, such as out of stock, but I don't think we should rely on an enum to display that. Rather, we should go ahead and rely on the stock being 0 in either the variance table we're going to be creating later on, or inside this product table here. So that's how we're essentially going to work around and work with all of this information. But after this being migrated now, let's just go ahead and check that the application is still working, which it is. Brilliant. Let's head into the admin panel and let's create an admin resource in here. So let's say, in this case, PHP Artisan make filament resource. Let's call this product resource. We could also even go ahead and link this up again. We may actually want to go ahead and do that before we end this video. Just like we did with the articles table, we added in a media ID. So we could go ahead and add multiple medias, but we're going to do that in a different migration. So we want to have multiple images for a single product, and the same for variant, depending on the use case. So for this now, we have this product resource, which we can now go ahead and work with in the next video. So all I want to go ahead and do now is just have a text column in here for the title, slug, and I think we just want to leave it at that for now, because we can go ahead and add all of these extra pieces of information later on in the video. So that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching it. Please hit the like and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.